Okay, hello everybody. As you can see on my screen, everybody can see my screen, I hope. I am a pro advisor with QuickBooks and I will be your host today. There are a few items that we will go over today, and we just did the mute yourself, and questions will be can be asked after each section. So why should you use QuickBooks Online? That's a good question. I'll go over that. And then how to get QuickBooks Online, what email to use for registering with TechSoup. You should have access. Aletha, you please mute yourself. Rebecca, can you help me with that one, please?
Yeah, I got her.
Okay.
There we go.
Who should have access to the account and where to find shortcuts, how to add an account in the chart of accounts, and what the chart of accounts are, how to create monthly financial reports to send out to chapters, and more topics to come. So I am the National Recording Secretary. I've been the National Treasurer for 2 years, as well as the National Financial Secretary for 2 years, and I have been on the Finance Committee for over 6 years. I am also the National Financial Mentor. I'm one of those weird people that actually like numbers. I'm a bookkeeper for several small companies in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I'm a pro advisor with QuickBooks. Let's go down. Stop making yourself crazy, because QuickBooks is not as hard as it seems. It's sequential. You have to do this before you can do that. So how do you get QuickBooks Online without paying the high subscription fees? Well, Intuit has raised their prices tremendously. You can't believe, I mean, some people are paying $175 a month for a small business. So TechSoup is a small nonprofit international network of non-governmental organizations that provides technical support and technological tools to other nonprofits. The chapter needs to register with TechSoup and provide a copy of your determination letter. Once you registered, you can purchase software such as Microsoft, Intuit, Adobe. You can even buy, what's the McAfee for the antivirus. You can buy hardware, but QuickBooks right now is currently $75 a year. And this is what a determination letter looks like. If you do not know, your financial secretary should have this. And this is also called a CP 575. And it could be on your chapter profile on the website. Some of the chapters have them on there. But this is for my chapter, California 15. And it's just saying, if somebody wants proof of our nonprofit, this is what we need to send them. TechSoup will ask proof of your nonprofit status. Each chapter financial officer will have their own logins. So when we go to QuickBooks, I'm going to show you an actual sample of QuickBooks. Right now, if you have a laptop that your chapter owns that has QuickBooks on it, your financial secretary and treasurer must meet or transfer the laptop back and forth. One person does not enter both expenses and income. So when you have it online, each officer will have their own login credentials. You can log in anywhere from your phone or tablet or your computer, even if you have a Mac or a PC. So the chapter president, chapter recording secretary, and VP have access, but they can only view reports. That's what they're supposed to have. So when you use the email that's provided by National, such as this one, the finsec.ca15@bluestarmothers.us. It makes it so that when somebody in the office, that particular office, if the officer changes, that login will still be with QuickBooks or wherever you do. You should, these emails are so important for each chapter to have. We had one chapter that they were using their personal emails to log in for QuickBooks. Financial secretary passed away suddenly, and the family would not share any information that got sent to her email. That chapter had to work with QuickBooks, and it took hours and hours, and it was a grueling process. So if they had used the FinSec dot whatever your chapter number is at bluestarmothers.us, then it would have, the change of password would have been sent to that email, no problem. Let's see what QuickBooks looks like and how to navigate through the shortcuts. I'm going to use my chapters QuickBooks so that you guys can actually see what it looks like. There's the chart of accounts, what the bank feed is, adding an expense or a check, editing an expense or check, deleting an entry, adding and editing a deposit, attaching documents in QuickBooks. That is such a fun feature because if you know those NCR receipts, they fade, and this will never fade. So I'm creating the financial reports and reconciling the bank account. Okay, let's go to QuickBooks. So the first thing you're going to do is make sure everybody has their own logins. There's a gear up here on the top right hand corner that has a lot of stuff on it, but right now we're going to look at manage users. And it should come up. My internet's just a little slow. There we go. And so our president has access, our treasurer has access, and the FinSec has access. Okay, and this is where you would add the user. You just sent them an invitation to do it. This banking, yes. Somebody have a question?
No, I think
Okay.
somebody was just unmuted and I just muted him. Oh, I accidentally muted you, Brenda.
Hey, it happens. Remember I did it to you. This banking option here, this doesn't put transactions into the accounting system. It just lets you know what has been, the transactions come from your bank. So we linked up our bank. You can, oops, you link up an account here. So we have US Bank, and this is, we had a packing, and you can add straight from here, or, oops. So if you see this one, $150, I gotta move me. I can match that one because I had already entered the information in there. But if I want to deposit, you can deposit on the fly. I mean, enter these on the fly. So to do that, I'm gonna click on it and make sure that the vendor is correct, that it's not uncategorized expense. So I have to categorize it. So this is care packages. And I don't know if you saw that, but there's two care packages. This one is an income and this one is expense. I know that because care packages is capitalized. And I don't want to click on this because that'll be a negative into my income. So I can just add that. I can go through, add the rest. Are there any questions? No questions? Oh, Sherilyn has a question.
Okay, I just was gonna say that on the, when you go back to the TechSoup question about getting your tax exempt and they want to see your tax exempt status, if your chapter doesn't already have tax exempt status from IRS or from your state tax board, what you can do is submit the national letter with a letter from the National Financial Secretary. That's an option for chapters that don't have that tax exempt letter right there that you showed.
Right. Everybody should have this, but some people didn't realize that was a permanent option to keep, a permanent piece of paper that we needed to keep. Thank you for that information, Sherilyn. Jeannie?
Yes, can you go back where you were on the QuickBooks page and you clicked, did you just click on the entry to get that drop down area where you were able to change your accounts and stuff?
Such as this one?
Well, yeah, any of them, and okay, so you just click on that and then that'll pop up that where you can put in the correct account and stuff. because
Correct.
It never comes from the bank the right way. Okay, okay, thanks.
So now that I taught QuickBooks that anything from the USPS is for care packages, it changed them all.
Oh, okay.
So, but you got to be careful so that if I go to the post office just to get postage for our chaplain to send out cards or what, you know, the recording secretary to send out thank you notes, I have to make sure that that goes under postage, not care packages.
Okay, thank you.
Gotta be. Gloria?
Yes, hello. As far as the tax exempt letter, we do not have that with OH 64. So maybe if you could tell me later at another time how we can actually get that letter. But in the meantime, I think we'll try the option that Carla was mentioning. And then as far as email, if our officers do not either want to have a Blue Star Mother email or do not have access to have one, can we still request email so that we can send documents there so that they will be stored there for future financial secretaries or recording secretaries or what have you?
Rebecca, you want to handle that one?
I really encourage you guys to use a chapter email and not your personal email. But yes, if you are not currently using your at bluestarmothers.us email, we can get you hooked up with what your logons with your emails are and your passwords are so that you can start doing that. If your chapter, my chapter has like each officer at gmail.com. You know, if you have that, we encourage you to use that for all of your business. Don't be sending it to your work email. Don't be sending it to your personal email. Anything can happen to any of us at any time. And that's what Brenda was saying at the very beginning of this, that, you know, anything can happen to any of us. And if I've got stuff saved on my work email or on my personal email, my chapter is not going to be able to access it. So I try to do that. So that would be great, Gloria. While I have the floor here, we have two answers that have come in. I know we have Lucy's got her hand up. Stephanie said, can you go over the matching?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then is that something you're going to do now or is that coming later?
Give me the other one too.
Okay, and then the other one is, will you provide a general chart of accounts for us to use? I think what everybody's looking for is, you know, what's the typical setting up your QuickBooks as far as names and accounts and all that kind of stuff?
There is a sample chart of accounts on the website on the financial page under scroll down all the way to the bottom, and then there's like sample thank you letter, sample donation letter, sample P&L. There's all these samples on the bottom, and the sample chart of accounts is on there too. But yes, I can go over that. I'll go to the matching in a second. Lucy, you had a question?
Not a question. I've been sending out, I'm the National Financial Secretary, and I've been sending out several letters to the chapter officers so that for the EIN, and I can do an umbrella letter. It's called an umbrella because you're under the national EIN umbrella, even though your specific chapters each have their own EIN number. And so if an officer contacts me, I can verify their information and send that right out to you.
Thank you, Lucy.
Yep.
Diane, you have a question? Lower your hand, Lucy, please.
I am.
Okay, thank you. Diane? We can't see you, honey.
Okay. I do not know what's going on with my camera,
Okay.
and I
It
can't
looks
get
like you
on.
have in front of it.
Well, I don't know. It's right in front of me, so I have no idea. Anyway, so my question is, okay, where I'm from New Mexico, chapter 1. We are currently using the desktop version.
Okay,
We might want to convert to this. So my frame of reference is entering transactions with the desktop version. And I'm not sure I'm understanding how, one, you enter the check to begin with, how you enter the deposit to begin with. And then
okay.
I'm
I will
just-
work with you
Yeah,
separately, Diane. After the
Yes.
trade, stay with me, okay?
okay.
Okay, so can you
Well, I'm
lower?
thinking I need to understand this though, because we are
Okay,
maybe going to change.
over it. So go ahead and lower your hand.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so the matching, I gotta move this. So let's, up here under new, the plus new, you're gonna find a whole slur of things. This is where you enter your expenses, your checks, your deposits. Those are the three things that you will be working with the most. If you print checks by computer, then this is another thing. So I'm going to put in USPS for $423. Give me a second. This actually gets done by the treasurer. All the outgoing stuff. So you have the option to enter all the stuff. You don't have to wait for it to come in through the bank, the banking module. You just need to make sure that it matches up. And we did this 11th. So care packages was $423. Okay, so I'm going to save in. This is the drop down menu arrow. You can either get save and new or save and close. So if you have a lot of expenses to enter, do save and close. I mean, save and new. If you have just this one, just save and close it. And then once that's entered, it will look for the transaction that came in through the bank feed. And then it will say match it once it loads up. Okay. So you see how it says we had 2 transactions that were $423 a piece. So I'm just going to match one of them. Once I match one, the other one will come off of add. Okay, hope that helps. Same thing with the deposits. If I want to do a deposit, There's a bank deposit. And I would enter all that information here. Also, this is where you would attach the receipt. So for for deposits, you're always supposed to keep copies of the checks that you deposit. You have a scan of it, put it into your computer, and so this will know where to get it. And it's just, we can put it on anything, right? I can pick any of those and it'll attach it here. Okay, but because these were already entered, you can do find match. And I made these $50 to two $50 deposits. And we can match that one. And we can match that one. Okay. What was the other thing? Chart of accounts. So under accounting over here, this is your chart of accounts. Mary, you have a question? You're muted though. There we go.
Yes, I did. I just for clarification, when you matched your two deposits, so they were two separate deposits on the same day for the same amount, right?
Right, right. Because the way that we had set up our bank here, my restricted fund, my chapter's restricted funds is they're under a bank. So I had one that was a care package donation, and one was something else, veterans activities or something. So because they're into two different banks and two different types of restricted income, I had to do two different deposits. You
But
can't
you put it in the description, right, of what it was that made it different.
right. So if I go into the bank deposits, there's a little, it looks like a clock up in the top left-hand corner. And it will tell you the most recent deposits. So let's do this one, $50. This one specifically was for care packages, and it was a donation, and I made a copy of the deposit of the checks that were deposited.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, Brenda, we have a question. Do you have the option of using matching, or can we simply bank reconcile the old school way in QuickBooks?
Not sure I understand that question. Bank reconcile.
I think what she's saying is that when you get your bank statement, your monthly bank statement, then you go through and reconcile that way.
Yeah,
Versus doing the matching.
Right. Okay. So you don't have to have your bank linked up. That's fine. So yes, you can go to reconcile, and as long as everything is entered, you will be able to reconcile.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
So-
another question, I'm
Wait a
sorry.
minute. Mary, if your question's done, can you please mute yourself again?
Okay.
Thank you.
So that, I believe that answered Louise's question. And then we have another question. How do you make an account a restricted account?
So the way I have set this up in my chapters so that we got the US bank. Sorry. He's got his earphones on. He doesn't know how noisy he is. Sorry. US Bank is our bank. And then it says funds earmarked. And then that one would be all our restricted funds. Those are underneath it. So you can come over here and click new. And you want to make sure that it's a sub account. Funds earmarked. Let's say we have one for, I don't know, what do you guys have? What's something that you guys restrict your funds for?
We have some money that was donated to our chapter to give, to use like for an award for like an outstanding Blue Star or a military support group or somebody who supports the military on their own. So we had a specific donation for that.
Okay. There's my video. So would you call it? What did you guys call it?
I have Anita is on here and so is Alethea. So if one of them want to unmute and let them know what we called that, because I don't remember what we named it, ladies.
Okay, we'll just make one up.
I think it was actually named after the lady. It was the Peggy, and I'm sorry, I can't remember Peggy's last name.
Okay, we'll just
But
put
like-
down your scholarship
Okay,
for veteran scholarship. Okay, so then as long as the bank matches the sub account, then we could go ahead and make it. And if I find that, oops, I made this, oh, I spelt it wrong. I can go over here to the where it says view register, there's a little arrow and I can edit it. And I can change it again. Or if I made that an error, I can make it inactive, which technically deletes it, but it doesn't get rid of any of the information. Whenever you delete an account, it will say inactive. And it won't, you'll still be able to review them. If I include the inactive accounts, it will show that it says deleted here, but it's not really deleted. Okay. And then to get rid of that, go there again.
okay, so we have another question is, can you make those edits after reconciling?
Yes, so anything that, let me go into our register. Anything that's after reconciling, it will have an R next to it in your check register. If it has been reconciled, you can change anything except the dollar amount. If you change the dollar amount, you will be out of luck for one thing, because you can't undo a reconciliation. Only accountants can. So if you ever get to the point where, let's say I change this number to $40 instead of $39.87, then I'll get a notice on when I go back to reconcile, it says, you can't do this because you're out of balance. So then we have to figure out what the problem is. I used to have a client that, she would go through after I reconciled and delete a bunch of stuff. And I'm like, why did you do it? She was, well, we don't need it anymore. It's old. And so please don't delete or change dollar amounts. So like this one here, it says miscellaneous. That's a big no-no. We don't want miscellaneous. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to change. What was the 154? Oh, that's what it was. I had used the wrong card when I, and this happens, it happened with me when I was national treasurer, no, financial secretary. 2 bank cards look exactly the same and I used the wrong one and I caught it right away. So this is right here, it's under miscellaneous and this zeroes it out. So everybody knows about it in my chapter. But that is what had happened there. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? I lost where I was.
We do. So no, we do have a couple more questions. One was just asked and you just answered it. Can you change the account? Can you change the account it's assigned to, for instance, moving something from care packages to miscellaneous? And you just stated miscellaneous cannot be used.
It can't. So it's a temporary an account. It's a temporary account. Don't leave anything in miscellaneous. Let's say you're trying to reconcile and you have 20 minutes and you've got to get it done and doggone it, you can't find the receipt for this. So you just put it in there for miscellaneous, but tomorrow you'll have the whole day to do it. You can get to it and you find it. Yes, you can change all your accounts.
Okay. Because then she came back and she said, okay, bad example, change from care package to postage.
Right.
And
right.
then we have another one that says, what determines which accounts are restricted?
The donor or your chapter, or so we have restricted funds for convention. What our chapter has voted on in the past, that 10% of each fundraiser goes into convention funds. So if we have a fundraiser that makes $4,000, $400 goes into convention. And that's a restricted fund. We can't use it for anything but convention. If a donor says, I want this to go to care packages, then it has to go into care packages. If we had somebody donate money so that we can get a storage unit and we didn't use it all, so we still have money in our storage unit. I hope that answered that. But these guys are all under funds earmarked, which should be restricted funds. So we can just change that. We're going to edit the name of it. Need to move you over. So according to this, my chapter has my chapter has $13,541.45 in it, of which $6,731.53 is restricted. Okay. What else was I going to editing, deleting? Oh, deleting. Okay. So the only reason I would have to delete an entry is if it was double entered and we need to get rid of it. So I'm trying to think. Let's make an expense. If it's reconciled, please do not delete it. You would have to make a journal entry. And I don't want to get into, accounting principles, but because I don't want you guys doing stuff you shouldn't be doing. So let's say we put in USPS and I put down $500 and that was for care packages. I also want to make sure that the bank is used right. The bank would be here, care package funds, because those are my restricted funds. It's going to come out of that care package restricted fund. This care package is down here is the category and $500. So I'm going to save and close. I can go back and edit this, but we're going to delete it. Let's say I was supposed to put in a deposit instead of the expense. So I'm going to go back to that expense. And I need to find that expense. So I'm going to go up to that little clock and click on the $500 one. And then under more, there's a black strip on the bottom. Under more, I can delete it. Or if this is a recurring thing that we're going to do, let's say it's rental for a storage unit. It's going to be $100 a month. I can make that recurring just so I don't have to keep entering it every month. It's you can just say make recurring, and then there's some information you need to put in, like when do you want the recurring transactions to start, and how long do you want it to go for. So I'm going to delete this transaction, and it will tell me. It will ask me, do I really want to delete this? Yes, I really want to delete that. Okay, so be very careful when you're deleting, because it gives you that option, but you don't go too fast on this. Okay, so under fundraiser income, we have all these that we have done. We should get rid of some of them. So like Tri-Tip Dinner 2016, since it has a date on it, we should make that inactive. This is how the chapter president wanted it to look like, with the dates on it. Bless you. So are there any more questions up there?
No, that was it.
Oh, Mary has her hand up again. Her real hand.
I think she's scratching her head.
No, she put it. You have to unmute, honey. Mary, unmute, please.
I was just watching you, but I had to move everybody, slide them over so I could see the right-hand side of the QuickBooks here because it was being blocked. But so my question was with the restricted funds, I'm like, how do you know what all the restricted funds are? But I'm seeing now like the Big Dipper donation, care package funds, blah, 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 that all the way down to Reese to be purchased. Those are all restricted funds, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And anything that's not, goes into anything that's not restricted, that goes into our general funds. So you see the difference between where it says restricted and what's in our bank?
Where?
So
yeah.
So this is what's in our bank, but only this much is restricted.
Okay, so, all right. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Creating financial reports. This is real important. You can email the financial reports to your chapter membership at least two, you should do it at least 2 days before the chapter meeting. Every month. Under reports. We've got. So you want to do a month of P&L. So let's say we're working on October. My QuickBooks would ever show up. Here we go. So the profit and loss. Some of you have the nonprofit where it says expenditures, and for the reports, it would be report of activity and report of financial. I forget what the other one is. So I don't use it that often. But here's the stuff that we want to work on. Is we want to make sure it says October 1st through the 21st. Accrual. We are always going in accrual, and you want to run report. This is what ours looks like for October. That's one report. You can download it here to export to PDF, and you save it as a PDF. And oh, I don't want that one. So I have a folder, it's 2021, and this is October. So these are the reports that I sent out to my chapter. I've got the P&L statement, the balance sheet, our budget to actual, all the deposits, the fiscal year. So that goes from September 1 through the last day of last month. And then the reconciliation report. So I would save that. And then the balance sheet is over here. And on the balance sheet, it does show what the restricted funds have in them too.
So Brenda, while you're looking at all of these reports, Jenny McFarland would like to know who sends out the monthly reports. Do those come from the treasurer or from the FinSec?
FinSec.
The FinSec. And then another question is the other nonprofit report called statement or financial, is the other nonprofit report called statement of financial position?
Yes, that's equal to the balance sheet. And then there's the budget. If you have a budget, you can keep an Excel spreadsheet. I gotta move you guys. Some QuickBooks subscriptions include it. And ours does. So I put it in here and I can get a report. That says budget to actuals. So this is just like what Lucy sends out when she sends out here, budget to actuals, her reports. Right, Lucy? Okay, I can move you guys again. So this is for this year, 9/21 to 8/31/22. So it also has it broken down by month. I don't really want to see if I'm a member, I don't want to see each month because like going down the line, there's nothing there. But so what I've asked to do is to send this to account and run report, and that'll give me the total. So right now, we're way under budget with our donations. But it tells me what's actual, what's budget, if it's over or under, and what the percentage is. Yeah. see what else. Reconciling. Okay, once you make sure that your treasurer has put in all the expenses and checks, you have, the financial secretary has put in all the deposits. And if you use the banking module, then you go ahead and match all those. This gear under reconcile. And this tells me, I'm just gonna put in 13, oops. I'm just using that so you guys just can see what's going on. All these messages. So this tells me everything that got edited there. So you have to have your statement with you. If this is the balance that would be on the bank statement, the ending balance, and you make sure that before you start anything, that the beginning balance is what it was, your ending balance, and then the date. So if I click off that, I know that I'm off because that's really not what we have, is 13,000. I just made a number in there. So anything that comes up on the bank statement, I'm looking at it. I'm saying, okay, there's the transfer of $150. There's a deposit of 50, deposit of 50. Well, where's all the rest of the care packages? So I have to go back and find those. I know we got lots of questions for that. Did Pat just come on?
Yes,
Yes,
She had Win 10 user.
yeah.
Can you change your name to that so we know who you are?
Pat Lamonaco.
I know, but can you change it on your,
have
I know.
Okay, so Sherilyn also made a suggestion for as far as sending out these reports to have your FinSec send the reports to the recording secretary. And then that way, when the recording secretary is sending out the agenda for your meeting and also your previous month's minutes, she could send out all the financial reports as well. So that is also a good suggestion. And then we have a question here. Is the financial position or balance sheet also run on a 1 month period?
Okay, so the balance, you want to always do the month that you're reconciling. So let's say we're doing October. I'm going to send out October plus I'm going to send out September 1 through October 31st, because that's for how far we are fiscally. If this was June, then I would run it from September 1st to June 30th, but I would only send out, I would do that report and the June 30th report. I hope that answers your question.
Hi, this is Jeannie Barker. I was the one who asked the question, and I just want to clarify. So do you run the report twice with 2 different date parameters?
Yes.
Okay, so we use the nonprofit version. So I run 5 reports, and you've mentioned the other 3, but the statement of financial position and the statement of activity, I think you said the statement of activity is just for the 1 month period. So October 1st to October 31st. And then the statement of financial position would be September 1st to October 31st plus October 1st to October 31st. Is that right?
No, it's the other way around. Because your balance sheet is like a movie. So it'll go from the very beginning to right now. It'll tell you at a specific date. Whereas the profit and loss is like a little snippet. It's this period or this period. So you want to go from, so your financial activity is the one that you want to do the month and the fiscal year to date.
Both. Okay. And year to date.
And the
Okay.
financial position is the one that you want to do just that month, because it'll show, it'll be the same number.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
that would be October 1st, October 31st only. For the statement of financial position.
Yeah, because it won't
Okay.
change if you do from the beginning of the year.
It won't
Okay.
change if you do. Right. Okay. Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? I'm looking at these.
There are no other questions in the chat.
Okay, let's see. Here's my email. If you guys have any questions, you can email me. This is not my recording secretary email. This is my volunteering email that I use for all the groups that I volunteer for. And I check it all the time. I get notifications. If you have any questions, if you want more training for your chapter financial secretary and treasurer, I'm willing to do that for whoever wants it. If you want to learn the difference between desktop and online, that I can do that too. Whatever you guys want, this is, I'm here for you.
I was just going to volunteer Brenda's services. She is excellent. If you've got some more specific questions that perhaps you didn't want to openly discuss with this group, she's wonderful. If you want to email her and ask her those questions, she's happy to answer those for us. She's been a godsend for our organization in helping with QuickBooks. Looks like Diana has her hand up and has a question. Go ahead, Diana, unmute.
I do have a question. You are videoing this and recording this, correct?
Correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Will it be available on the website for like my other financial officers and for time down the road?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, as
Okay.
soon as we're finished, Brenda will download it from the cloud and we'll get it to the webmaster and it will be out there underneath. We've got several training videos out on our homepage of our website. So yes, that is, all of those training videos are there for anyone who would like to view them.
Now, are those under resources or?
I think they're listed under training.
Training videos, yes, they're all training videos. Carla Keller, you had a question about an error that was made a while ago.
Yeah, we found an entry and it's just a category. Do we need to do a journal entry adjustment or can we just change the category?
Call me after the meeting so we can discuss this.
Okay.
Okay. It's not pertinent to everybody, so I don't want to bore them.
Well, it might be.
Okay, so if it's just a category, you can inactivate it or deactivate, make it so that it's inactive. If it's an expense, it has already been reported and doesn't matter. But if it's on your balance sheet, that's why I said it depends on what's the category, Carla?
Yes, it's on our balance sheet. It's showing up as funds due from national, and it should just be membership.
Yes, so I would do a journal entry. And I can help you with that if you,
Okay.
no one is willing to tackle the journal entries.
Okay, yeah, we didn't just want to do it on our own. We wanted to make sure if we could just change the category at this time, because it was made many years ago, but it keeps showing up on the balance sheet.
Right, so yeah, it needs to be taken care of.
Yep.
Okay.
So we have Pat Harper was just coming in from our waiting room. So we just need to let her know that we're finished here and she can go back and catch everybody on the video. I don't see her in here yet, but I know she's on her way in. Looks like we might have another Brenda Louise Wilson would like to set up an individual time with you in this coming weeks, in the coming week. You want her just to email you?
Yes, I just put that in there.
Got
Have
it.
her.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, ladies,
Okay,
if that's
so Miss
not,
Pat, I'm sorry, Miss
Yes.
Pat, we just, you just came in and you caught us at the very end of this. But this has been recorded and it will be posted out on our website under the training videos. And so you can go back and view it. And if you have any additional questions, Brenda has offered her services. You can reach out to her directly and she'll be happy to help you.
Thank you so much. Oh, I don't know. I don't understand how I screwed up the time change.
it's
Well,
three,
it's all different, from the East Coast to the West Coast, and we all are in different time zones. So it's very easy to misunderstand.
3-hour difference, correct? So
Yes.
you went on at 4 o'clock. I thought New York would be 7.
She went out at 3 o'clock.
Oh, that's not the notice that I had.
Yeah, the first one was wrong. And then there was another one that went out right after it saying, oops, sorry, it's at 3 o'clock.
Oh.
That's okay, because it's been videoed, and so you can go out and watch it. And like I said, Brenda is fantastic to answer questions. So you can email her directly or give her a phone call, and she will be happy to help you through this.
I appreciate that. Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome. Okay, Brenda, I'm going to turn it back over to you to close us out.
Okay.
Maybe.
Maybe I have to stop sharing.
Yeah, you can stop sharing. There you go. Hi, ladies. There's everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.
Happy
Oh, make sure we
Thanksgiving.
get everybody on here.
Thank you.
Happy
Have a good
Thanksgiving, everybody.
Thanksgiving, everybody.